exciting times in Mzansi as the Orlando Pirates fans are happy people. They're equally as happy after Mamelodi Sundowns, including Kaizer Chiefs. It must have been a stunning start to the season. We'll talk about that later with Jerry Skosana. Out in England, of course, some of the heavy hitters have started to drop points, making for an interesting start to the season. Sitting alongside me, I've got the legendary Shane McGregor. Shane, interesting times in England, but we have to talk about a side that over the last 2 years maybe has fallen off the way somewhat. Chelsea. This season, just 3 points off of the top of the table. They're fifth, yes, but 3 points off the top. They beat West Ham with a 3-0 scoreline away from home. It's looking like the Chelsea of old. Is it, or is it too soon to say?
Too soon to say, I would think. They haven't come up against any of the big teams as such. When I say the big teams, your Arsenals, Man Cities, the Liverpools, they haven't played them yet. But it's a good start for them.
Yep.
They've had a lot of changes in there, a lot of new personnel coming in. Yeah, good for them. That's where Chelsea should be. I mean, you got to have that league stronger. You got to have the top teams up there. Good. But I will just hold back and say they've turned the corner just yet. The one thing about them is a lot of youngsters coming in, and as you go along, the youngsters start waning off, and that's the big worry for me. But we'll see.
Well, carrying on from last season, Aston Villa, who were thereabouts, and really made it an interesting shake-up to the top 4, top 5 race. 3-1 win away at Wolves, third in the current campaign in the early stages, coming after starting blocks. They're looking to carry on from where they left off last season.
Yeah, and they've improved. Once again, they brought players in, and I mean, I've been saying this all. I said last season, I'm saying it again. He's a very wise manager that brought the right players in. They just seem to keep on churning the results out. They're a team that you don't want to go play against as the top teams. You're scared to go play against them. It's like one of those where, look where we're playing this week.
Yeah.
Not good. So that's also brilliant for the league. You want those teams in there. But a good one. Wolves, I said to you, struggling. And I think they're going to struggle for a while longer.
Now, Liverpool is an interesting club to talk about right now. They beat Bournemouth with a 3-0 scoreline, but Diaz looking good. I say that because he adds to what Salah has given them in the start of the season, and Nunez scoring, a lovely goal, but there's another player they need to start finding his scoring boots going forward in this campaign. Well,
Diaz has found his scoring boots. I mean, what a start for him,
Sure.
As we say, Salah's been chipping in here and there. Been a little bit disappointing in a couple of games, but that's what strikers are about, and that's what forwards are about. Especially their forward liners all chip in. Nunez first goal in 17 games as a striker. Not a great turnaround, but hopefully this kicks him on. He's been given advice by Van Dijk to calm down, relax, because I think he's been over trying. Let's see. Hopefully he kicks on, and you never know with them three in form. Oh,
yeah, it could be scary
for other teams.
Could be scary. So the game we were all looking forward to, of course, Manchester City up against Arsenal. Wow. What a turn of events. Arsenal leading 2-1, the red card, of course, in the first half, and the way Arsenal then have to shift mentally and defend. Let's get your breakdown in this game.
It shows you exactly where Arsenal have come over the years.
Yeah.
And normally they would just capitulate and give up, but now they've gone and carried on. They're looking stronger. Yeah, they had to defend. I mean, there's no other way to play against a Man City team. They're going to come at you, especially with an extra player. Lots of crying from both sides of the story, and there's lots of arguments afterwards. But well done to Arsenal to hold on. They were 2-1 up. They held on. They only conceded a goal very late in extra time. A lot been said about this referee, Man City, behind the scenes. So if you look at the mistakes he's made over the years, all favoured Man City. Sure. It's a bit of a worry that. But well done to Arsenal. If they'd held on for the victory, it would have been a different story. But couldn't just hold on. I'm glad there was an equaliser.
It makes things interesting, I'll tell you that. But let's talk about Erling Haaland quickly. City now, he's played 105 games at Manchester City. He scored 100 goals, got his 100th over the weekend. In the Premier League, 71 games, 73 goals. These are astonishing numbers.
Phenomenal. We basically the same figures as Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So you're talking in the same breath there, he's a goal scorer of note. He's not the most attractive player to watch. He's not the best looking player to watch on any given time, but he scores goals, and that's what it counts.
You made this point time and time again, just to highlight it for the fans at home. At Dortmund, 89 appearances, 86 goals. At Molde, 50 appearances, 20 goals. At Salzburg, 27 appearances, 29 goals.
Yeah.
He's done this throughout his career. He's only still 24, keep in mind.
Exactly. Can you imagine what he's going to carry on to? I mean, injury-free, he's going to be phenomenal. I mean, he'll be one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. He already is, but could be even better.
Yeah, let's talk about what's happening today. What started half an hour or so ago, Newcastle at home to Man City. Newcastle 2 seasons ago, we had a lot to say about them. It hasn't quite turned out the same.
They haven't been bringing players in, and that's my worry. And I'm not too sure why they haven't done that. Anyway, it hasn't been great. Man City should get the job done, but I'm still waiting to hear about that case of theirs.
Yeah, everybody's waiting on that.
If it comes to where they're in big trouble, they could be going 2 divisions down, So, well, let's see what happens.
We'll have to wait and see. But Arsenal, later on in the afternoon, taking on Leicester City. That's an interesting case, the return of Leicester City, of course. They could be a stumbling block if they're up for it.
No, not against Arsenal.
Yeah?
Arsenal will get the victory there, unfortunately for Leicester.
Now, Chelsea, we touched on them and their good start to the season at home to Brighton, who played some good football on that day.
Brighton, they had a great start and they seem to have just waned off. I mean, I'm not too sure what's happening there. If you look at the way Chelsea again, I can't go past Chelsea, so I would go home victory for Chelsea there.
2 sides that have had a terrible start to the season, maybe struggling a whole lot more than we expected. Maybe Everton, we touched on last week and the week before. Crystal Palace have also had their struggles this season, yeah?
Yeah, both had their struggles. We know why Everton, because they can't bring players in. A draw written all over that one.
Liverpool away to Wolves?
Win.
And
struggling.
The big one for Manchester United fans after the draw to Crystal Palace, which was a bit disappointing, but United against Tottenham.
And they draw midweek.
And the draw,
United fans are really short in that. I'll be honest with you, I can't see anything but a draw in this game.
With United Tottenham?
Draw.
Tottenham fans will be thinking, hey, give us a break here. We haven't had that better start to the season. United may be struggling somewhat, but don't you give Tottenham a slight edge, couldn't we?
No, the Tottenham fans are up in arms over their manager at the moment. So, if you look at both, they both had a stumbling start. I think it's a draw.
So, interesting times watching England, of course, and wow, what results we've had thus far. Let's look forward to what's happening this weekend and in the week to come. We'll break it down once again with Shane McGregor come next week, Saturday. On the other side of this, we discuss, happy clubs. All of the top flying clubs in South Africa so far are happy and have reason to be. Jerry Skosana helps to break that down.
Check these guys. Let's show them how to do that. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Your feet like this.
Welcome back now. Orlando Pirates, are known as happy people, their supporters, and they've got plenty of reason to be happy with the way the season has started in all fronts, whether it's the MTN 8, the Champions League, or the PSL itself. Now, same can be said for Kaizer Chiefs fans, and while Sundowns fans will be happy with the way things have turned around since the start of their season with the MTN 8. Got Jerry Skosana sitting alongside me to break down all things good about the return of the best league in the world for us who live here in Mzansi, of course, that being the Premiership. So let's firstly talk about the results coming in. Sculling Pirates and their 3-0 win over a good-looking Polokwane City until they ran into Pirates.
Thanks, Caesar. I think I'm more than happy and excited, honestly, because Mau Boga, from when we started in MTN 8, Chiefs wasn't there.
Yeah.
But now we are uzumsindo manje. Yeah. When you look at the log, after 2 games, 2 big clubs, all 3 of them in 6 points, I think it's somewhere. It's going to be an exciting season.
It's been exciting. And my Pirates and the Sundowns, we MTN 8. But coming Pirates, in Polokwane City. The good news for Pirates, now it contributes with 2 goals. Just adds to the number of players that are a threat at Pirates.
angikwazi ukusingle out ama-players, honestly, because into nje engiyithandayo nge-Pirate, it's more of every player elapha wants to work for that team. Nobody wants to be sidelined.
Yeah.
And you can see the way they are committed. I mean, if I look at Saleng when the season was closing the previous one, he was in the Saleng that started when he signed for Pirates, but now he's coming back with a bang. I mean, what he did with the equalizer there, I think for me, that was a stunning goal. Lenkomboza ngisashama engel, man.
Yeah,
that was a good angle.
Yeah,
you know.
With
the defender, and that's bravery because you want to get something. So for me, it's something a positive in terms of Pirates players wanting to win the team.
Now, Marumo Kalans looking good, but struggling. But defensively, but a problem. There's a huge problem against Mamelodi Sundowns, conceding 4, scoring just 1 now. 4 tendencies, 3 games, 3 losses to start the season. For Mamelodi Sundowns, it's the same old Sundowns to starting the season.
You know, in Tephlung, we always looking at these teams that come back, go PSL. You know, how do they come back? Marumo Kalans bought status of Morocco Swallows.
Yep.
Team was relegated. Who was there when the team was relegated? I mean, Tendence was there. Now the team is bought status, they're coming back to PSL. It's the same procedure. Tendence is a good coach in terms of ball position, the way players express themselves. This is South African football. But what is happening at the end of the day when you're not winning games? I mean, keeping position and be good on the field, it doesn't give you the leverage of staying in the PSL. You need to win games. And that's exactly the point, because they always go forward. He once said he doesn't mind winning 4-3, you know, because he wants people to see how good football he can tell the players to play. So for me, it's something that always comes to me, because when I played for Pirates, I wanted to be there to score goals, to see the team winning. It wasn't about an individual performance or the brilliance of Bondarenko to say he did this to Jerry. No. When you get there, you want everything to happen for a club. It mustn't be individual. So for me now, good 10-10, I still have this feeling of saying he needs to make sure the defense is good, goalkeeping department is good, midfielders can create, strikers can score goals so that he can win the games.
Back in the day, we used to say wherever Chiefs plays is their home. Full house is their home. During the week, no hard. And then we win a 3-1 against Amazulu. But that 3-1 scoreline can be deceiving a bit. Things weren't going too smoothly, but we win it 3-1, 3 points. End of the day.
Look at the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For me, when it was like that, I mean, they said it was a sold-out game on Wednesday. But what happened when the game started, the stadium was half empty.
Yep.
But when they scored the 3rd goal, and my worry was like, it takes me back to what happened at Ellis Park.
Yep.
You remember the Stampede, where it was a sold-out between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. I was there as a player. And when Chiefs scored, I think Pirates equalized, if I'm not mistaken. You know, everybody from the outside, because they thought they were late, the supporters wanted to come in. So I'm happy on Wednesday that didn't happen at Moses Mabhida Stadium. But let's not take away the safety first. Because if you look at the magnitude, your game is your Chiefs and Amazulu, which a lot of Chiefs supporters being sold out. Let's look outside. You know, it was worrying for me on Wednesday. Yes, good result for Chiefs, good first 20-25 minutes, but I was worried with like nothing happened, in fact, but I was worried with the supporters coming late to stadium.
Supporters will be full at FNB Stadium in a few hours. Chiefs Sundowns. We will
I say a draw.
Yeah.
Take as a draw, but that will be good football, because that's where now everybody would say, let's see if Chiefs can hold on to the big guns. I mean, they are facing a big gun in South Africa. So I mean, after Marumo Kalans, Amazulu, now the 3rd game, that's where everybody will see ukuthi hayibo, no ikhosi liboyile. Okanye asibuyele nemuva siyolungisa. But it's going to be a good game later on today.
Have to ask you quickly, if we just play Orlando Pirates?
Orlando Pirates.
Orlando Pirates.
For a win, yeah.
And then Cape Town City Super Sport.
Super Sport.
Well, there you have it, James Kosana, with his thoughts with what's been happening and what's going to happen in the upcoming weekend. We have a special interview coming up on the other side of this, as we do always here on GameON. It's with a legend, and I'll save the surprise until just shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, we promised you a special interview in the last segment of our show today, and my oh my, do we have not another special interviewee to speak to, and someone who's contributed to the game as an international, also as a pundit, and now as a coach. That, of course, is South African legend Bradley Carnell, joining us all the way from the US. Bradley, thank you so much for your time, and in the interest of moving things along quite quickly, how is life treating you out in the US these days?
Yeah, Caesar, thanks for having me, man. It's so good to hear your voice again. Obviously working with you back in the day at Super Sport in 2010. So the click, click, bang, never, I always remind myself of the click, click, bang, so it's great to hear your voice, and you're a legend in the making, or already a legend. So, but man, thanks for having me. It's been great. And listen, life in America is good. There's been a couple of changes to my day-to-day recently, but we'll manage those and let time and reflection take its course. And I'm looking forward to some challenges that happen in the near future. But so far, life is good. My family are, two girls. One is in college. One is a junior in high school, which means 2 more years to go. So, it's just life as per usual, as a real dad now, so I can focus on time with family and do a lot of things that I haven't been able to do for so many years. It's been 2012 since, I took over the role as a coach at the University of Johannesburg, and where I could really cut my teeth into coaching and really see if I really wanted to do this. And in 12 years now, being at the grind every single day through different avenues, through different exposures, through different levels, so maybe this is a well-earned break.
Now, Brad, looking back at your career, as a player, it goes back a long time. I mean, you turned professional as a teenager and made some heavy moves as a teenager. Before long, you were already playing in Europe, and here you are now, like you say, since 2012. I remember those varsity football days when you were down to UJ. The transition, though, from playing for so many years, from such a long time ago, yes, you spent some time in punditry where we all worked together, but the transition to coaching, how have you found it over, since 2012 and so on?
Yeah, I never actually wanted to get into coaching, I just had a career, and towards the end of my career, I was like, you get treated in a certain way and you get handled in a certain way, and then you wanted nothing to do with it. So for me, I was like happy to retire. And then I spent a year just to think about my next moves and to think about what the game has given me and how can I give that back to somebody else, So rather than being greedy and to say, I've had enough now, I'm done, I was really excited and curious to see if I could affect change and affect people's lives in the way that my life had been affected, by people who cared about me and people who nurtured me. So, this was one of the main steps and motivations for me to become a coach. And, my best experiences, or I've had many great experiences now over the 12 years of coaching. But it has to start somewhere, and those experiences with UJ will never leave my side, because those were so enriching and empowering, just to see what you can do for other people, and it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. Just investing in people, investing in what they do, nurturing their talent. It's cost me nothing. So I feel like I don't work a day in my life here. I just love to do what I do and helping people out. So it's a big challenge for sure. There's pressures, and for sure. But I'm always curious about what's around the corner. I've always been somehow brave and independent to go and get the next thing, and to challenge myself to go one step better. So the journey and where I'm coaching, and I don't even really look at it like that. I just look at going day to day.
I'm glad. I think you're the perfect person to ask this question that I'm going to ask next. For someone who's as well traveled as you are in the world of football, the current state of football in the US. Some may say, for a youngster that's looking to make a name for himself, let's say from South Africa, moving to the US may not be a great place to go. Is it a great place to go? What is the current state of football and standard of football in the US for a youngster that's looking to make a name for himself?
Yeah, I think the league has always been seen as a retirement league, and that's always been the biggest problem and the biggest staple and the biggest stigma around the league. But if you look at the selling power of the MLS now, and if you just think of Alphonso Davies, Tyler Adams, there's been these type of players, that have gone on to do great things in Europe. So it's changing its tag now to a selling league, and the rules are always changing. That you can now acquire like young U22 initiative players, which means you can go out and spend a hell of a ton of money to acquire these high talents, and it doesn't really go on your roster cap. So, so there's a lot of different rules that are changing now to attract younger, dynamic players, high talent players with big ceilings for sell-on values. So, these mechanisms that are in place now, would almost entice. And I look at now Bongi Hlongwane, from Minnesota United. Wow, yeah. This kid's on a rampage. He's doing so well, and he's just galvanized with the team. And you can see he's a really great character. And whenever you chat to him, or whenever you speak to teammates, or you just watch his daily dealings and the way he plays and expresses himself, it brings a joy to us. So, and then you're really proud to be a countryman of his, because like he's doing a great job away from home, and it's not the easiest thing to do your job away from home. Life is always very good in Johannesburg, or in South Africa. For me, there's so many things you miss on a day-to-day level, and then when you see other people succeeding and doing really well, you're really happy for them, because it's a big step forwards.
Now, you also got to, I think, rub shoulders with another young South African who's returned to Kaizer Chiefs, Jabulo Blom. Left here, a youngster that, looked quite thin, and he's come back, and he's muscled up, and he's looking the business physically. He's looking as though he's really gained quite a lot physically in his time out in the States. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, listen, the American League is a very physical league. If you have some players who are European stars, and they come here and they experience what this league is about. It's, if you just think of the American athlete, and that's what it is, and now you translate that to the game. I think within our game model and our game idea, the athlete, the physical presence, the way we apply our soccer, or our game principles, you need to have that presence about you, and Jubs was instrumental for us in that first year, man. He did such a great job. He has a sixth sense of when the ball's going to bounce away from the opponent, and he has like cat-like tendencies to jump and be on the press and on the counter press. So, he did really well, and we're so happy with his development.
My Brad, have to keep time in mind, and have to ask you this before I let you go. Any future plans that you are aware of for the time being, or are you just coasting for now, just taking it easy for now?
Sorry, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear this.
Any future plans? Any future plans within football?
Yeah, listen, like I said, there's a couple, there's 4 or 5 games now left, and then all the teams go into the playoffs, I've invested a lot of time and energy here in the US. I'm really excited about what's happening next, and hopefully those discussions start sort of maturing over the next couple of weeks, and then I'll know more. Long term, you never know where this road takes you as a coach.
But thank you so much for your time in football and here on GameON.
Thanks, Israel. Not stopping anytime soon, man.
Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Time flies when you're having fun, and we hope you at home have had fun. We would like to thank, of course, let's not forget Shane McGregor, include onto that list Jerry Skosana, Brady Carnell as well, for taking the time to join us from the US, and you at home for taking the time to join us on yet another fun-filled Saturday afternoon. From myself, Suzu Mabena, and the rest of the team that is behind the scenes. Click, click, bang.